Hello and welcome back to another episode of What SHU Doing alongside the most distinguished alumni, Paul Guarino.
Yep.
I am Aaron Burrell, and today we have another special guest in the building, the one, the only, Immanuel Sanchez, one-time Emmy Award winner, two-timer speaking it into existence. Winner. Correct.
Yes.
How are we doing today, Manny?
Good. I'm glad you guys are manifesting the second Emmy for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got to speak some success in the air.
I'm mad you didn't bring it.
I really thought about it, but I didn't want it to make a full just planning this on the table in front of everyone.
Actually, for future guests, we're going to say, bring your awards.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring anything.
We'll call it the Manny Sanchez rule.
Bring
Yeah.
all the little League baseball trophies.
Your fifth place in
Yeah, by
third grade
participation
baseball.
trophy, yeah.
But yeah, so
All right.
oh,
All right, man. Yeah, tell us when you graduated and tell us where you're from and stuff like that.
All right. Yeah. So born and raised in New York City, from Staten Island, New York. Currently live in Stamford, Connecticut right now. Graduated undergrad here, Sacred Heart, class of 2015. Was a double major in marketing and sports management. So I stuck
How
with.
were we in class together?
I don't know. I mean, it was I probably the double major, all the marketing classes, all that. I was doing a bunch of those classes, all those late night 7 p.m. classes. So
That's crazy.
probably different professors, but yeah, no. Double major in that, graduated class of 2015, and then decided to go the SEM route for my master's. And we had actually happened to be the same class, you and me.
Sir.
It'd be class of 2016, which it was crazy. It feels like yesterday, but
right. It's wild to think of how much time has passed since
it's
then.
been a while.
Yeah.
So graduated that. So was fortunate enough to get a contract job at ESPN right after, around August of 2016. So, I've been sticking around with the sports route ever since. I never knew exactly what I wanted to do with sports. I thought I wanted to work maybe like at a athletic department or for some professional team, whatever the case was. That's hence why I chose the sports management route, but didn't know exactly what to do. So that's why I wanted to do grad school at SEM, do the sports communication route, just to see if it was something I like. And here we are. Yeah, no, it definitely was the best decision I made, for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. Because I didn't know that, because we got the same undergrad, and because I always talk to Miller about it. And I'm like, yo, you got to link the two, business and the media, because like they don't. I mean, maybe they are now, but like that's like a key thing, I think, because it's like then you learn the sports business, and then you have the sports media experience as well.
Yeah, no, the two definitely link together perfect. So no, it's definitely you seen the communication side, but you see not many people talk about the behind the scene business side of it. So you see what goes on hand to hand. But with that, ESPN did that for a year. Then around August or September of 2017 is when I started at NBC. Which is funny was around the same time Aaron also got a job at NBC. So everywhere I went,
we were always together.
It felt like I was either following you were following me, something like that. So it was a fun. Still at NBC now. So I'm currently a supervisor for the video streaming operations team for NBC Universal, mainly working on the Peacock app. So been very busy with that, mainly on the sports streaming side of it. So handling the Sunday night football games, Premier League soccer. Also now currently doing WWE. I just got done doing a Royal Rumble pay-per-view just this past weekend. So
WWE goes crazy on the low. Like, people don't understand.
And I mean, we almost hit 2 million on the stream. So I mean, those people are a dedicated bunch. That's for sure.
Yeah. Even you guys had the game, the NFL. I forgot what playoff game. It was the first playoff game, and everyone's like kind of old. The old heads were mad.
Yeah, the first exclusive streaming playoff game.
You worked that, correct?
But I was working that night. The Miami Dolphins versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
My Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What was the download? I know you guys went all the way up to like the #1 app.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were 30% of all internet usage
That's crazy.
that day.
That is insane.
Almost nearly or exactly 30% of internet usage was all on Peacock for that game.
What was that like for you all and your team working that? Like, was there stress? Was it excitement? What was going on?
I think it was one of those where it was like, it was just stress leading up to it, because it was not much stress. It was more just like so much preparation, because you're trying to make sure not only your team is ready, but other teams in your department is ready, because there's so many engineers involved. There's so many production people involved. There's so many things behind the scenes that no one knows when it comes to streaming. As you all know, technology is not perfect. Anything could break. So we want to make sure, like, if something were to happen, there's a failover. We have a backup, and there's a backup to the backup and a backup. There's constantly backups to something, because, first exclusive playoff stream, like, you don't want to mess that up.
You're setting the tone really for the future.
Exactly. And because we did so well, almost just tens of millions of users on our stream, that set a precedent. Not only this looks good for us, now the NFL, the league, is going to look into this. Like, we're going to probably start continuing this. It wouldn't shock me if other, vendors, whether it be Paramount Plus or Apple TV or Prime, whatever the case, they're going to start looking into also wanting their own playoff exclusive stream. So we definitely set history on that date. It was definitely crazy, with a bunch of executives coming in, executives leadership normally you never see ever, only on through your Outlook emails, but like coming in office, they know, when there's that many people like that, something's big happening. You're either setting history, or you don't want to miss out on what's going to happen.
Right. It's probably a similar feeling, I would assume, to Olympic times, because we've both been at NBC during Olympic time, so we'll get to that in a second, but similar feeling.
Yes. I mean, definitely with the Summer Olympics coming up in Paris, but we're going to be busy with that. But I think it was just something with this NFL game alone. It was just, we set history, with that many people on our stream. It never been done before. We were the first ever. So the league took a chance on us. We had to show up and make sure everything was set. And after the stream was done, we all in the office just started clapping, just giving each other high fives, just like, wow, we really just did this.
Yeah, that was history.
Serious.
Yeah. For, what could have been a more exciting game? Yeah, but, it was...
You guys don't control that part.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but, it was one of those, you just had to be there and watch it. So it was cool to be part of that.
The other thing you guys did, too, was the 7-on-7 soccer tournament was on Peacock this past summer. That blew up, I think, because, like, at first it started out slow, and then all the athletes and celebrities, like, were in it too and involved their, like, ownership and playing, like Steve Nash and Ocho Cinco. And then, like, it just, like, blew up. And then I was watching it. It was cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, we have, like, a cool stronghold on the soccer side of it, especially with the Premier League. As you know, Aaron, you're big into Premier League, a big fan of it. So am I as well. Yeah, no, that was a cool thing. Hopefully they do that again this summer. It was just like a one-time experiment, see what numbers we get. It did pretty well for first time. So it was...
Shout out to Newtown, too. Connecticut one.
Shout out Newtown,
crazy.
Yeah, right.
That was crazy. What about, I got to ask you, because, I'm big into boxing, and I believe NBC Sports just picked up the rights, I think, for a UK-based promoter.
We're doing Boxer now, BOXXER. Boxer, British Boxing. We've been doing that for, I think, good, like, just less than a year. So we're just getting that off the ground going. So we've been streaming that. I think we have one coming up in a couple weeks. So yeah, no, it's definitely been, we try to add as much as possible on Peacock. As you guys know, you hear about the streaming wars. Every platform trying to acquire something. With now the latest with Netflix getting WWE Raw. That's big with the money they poured out for that. And with MLS all on exclusively Apple TV. So it's a lot of just live sports is booming now, especially with the streaming side of it. And I just been happy to I'm very lucky to be part of that. When I started August 2017, I was mainly streaming just NBC Sports app. It was, only big with Sunday Night Football and Premier League, but now to transition to Peacock, when it started at 2020, we didn't know how big it was going to get. And now it's getting to the point where, you know, streaming is taking over, the cable, all the broadcast network stuff. Little by little, everybody is at least has 2 to 3, maybe even more streaming apps, streaming whatever TV, movies, or live.
I got all the
sports.
apps.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Everything.
What about like how are you in these meetings when they're like trying to decide what programs to buy?
No, that's a lot more above my pay grade on that part. I'm more just like, what's the events we're doing, and just prepare for it and just make sure it's running well. I work with a great team in NBC. We dab in a lot of stuff, and with being that we as a platform do almost the most live sporting events
Mhm.
in the app. So compared to obviously ESPN and other platforms out there, so it's really cool. It'd be cool to be in the meetings, but it's more just like we hear it from my directors, more just like this is what's coming up, and just get prepared. We start testing and all that, and then when the day comes, we start streaming live.
I want to take it back because you had said something about how you were like lucky and happy to do this, but there are a couple of things I want to do with this. One, I want to take it back to a more personal part of your journey because obviously we know each other,
Right? Yeah.
And I have seen a lot of this firsthand.
We've gone back a while,
a long time, and so I want to go back to a lot of this.
You guys got a bromance?
Yeah,
something like that.
Some might say that.
Yeah.
Some might say something like that.
I mean, we go back just our senior year, 2015, and then all the way started grad school. We've been
all of this. So I want to take it because a coworker of mine said something the other day to another person. He was saying there is no such thing as luck. It's just hard work meeting preparation. And I say that to lead into this moment because as someone who has known you this entire time, I'm genuinely trying to think of people I know who work harder than you, and I genuinely cannot think of anybody. And I say that because I remember the days you were at ESPN, and we were like, yo, we should start a podcast. And we were like, all right, let's figure this out. You drove down. I was living in Fairfield, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And we sat there for
and I was by New Britain, Connecticut.
And you drove from New Britain all the way down to Fairfield.
Yeah.
We sat there for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
To the point my roommates were all like, you guys are just, they were like, oh, you guys getting paid for this? We were like, no, we're just like,
for fun. Yeah.
This is like us trying to, we wanted to get better at our craft, and we wanted to keep it moving. And not only that, after we did that, we used to shoot the show every week. And you would drive from New Britain down here to Fairfield. We would shoot an episode 3-4 hours. You drive back to New Britain, go work at ESPN, do it all over again, cycle, repeats and repeats and repeats. And then I remember just like, it was so crazy because we were talking to Mario on his episode about seeing your classmates go on to do, cool things. Yeah. And I remember when you went to ESPN, and it was like, I'm pretty sure you were the only one at ESPN, right? At the time?
Something like
or
that, yeah.
Maybe there was one other person at ESPN, and it was just like, it was a cool thing. It was like, yo, Manny's at ESPN. Yeah. And then I started at NBC, and then you came to NBC. It's funny because there's 1,000,001 stories I could go into from our time at NBC. Like, I was talking to Travis, one of our old coworkers, and he was always like, anytime I would see you and Manny, I just knew like the two of y'all were cracking jokes, like, having a good time, trying to make work fun.
We've gone way back. It just both of our journeys together. I mean, it's a mixture of honestly luck and just like dedication. You just, I'm a person that tries to adapt to everything, try to learn new things. The podcast with me and you done, like, it was not even, I didn't even see that as work. That was just fun. Like, it was with the guys, honing my craft, learning new things with that, and then going to ESPN, which that was my first real taste of the sports media world. They're the worldwide leader of sports. They have that mantra for a reason. It's a factory every day in there. And I'm very appreciative of being there, having them, hire me, whether it was a contract year job, whatever the case was. I was a production assistant working Sports Center, or I was either making highlights or doing prompt prompter work for those Sports Center shows. So my one glory to fame, I guess, not even I shouldn't say fame, but more just like I could say I've done this. Was I had a college basketball game. I think it was, mind you, this was 2016. It was like West Virginia versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma beating West Virginia at the time when West Virginia was like one of the top ranked teams. So it was a big upset win for Oklahoma. And I was doing that game. I created a highlight and it made first in the A gap right there for Sports Center. First highlight reel for, I think, Scott Van Pelt, I think, or whatever Sports Center show. So I could say I claimed that. That was my moment. So that was cool. And then doing impromptu work, being able to do that. So I gained a lot of experience there. It's definitely crazy hectic. It's definitely, you know, it's not your 9 to 5. It's not easy hours. You're going to be working late nights. You're going to be working early mornings. That's just the world of sports and entertainment. That's how it goes. And then transitioning over to NBC, not knowing what the streaming, not knowing live streaming at all. I've been only taught, you know, broadcast, production. Streaming was such a new thing. Not that it was never existed, but it was such a new realm, especially in the sports side of it. I'm like, where is this going to go? And from 2017 to now.
Look at it. You look like you're like almost, you know, like you got foresight and to see that.
I've seen so much now at this point. So many Sunday Night Football, so many Premier League games. It's definitely cool to see the transition from like, let's see where the streaming goes to like now everyone is trying to acquire everything in the sports world and streaming side.
Did you have a Professor Santemeyer for class?
Which professor?
Santemeyer.
I think so, maybe, yeah.
It was crazy because I always think about it because he was always talking about second screen. That's what they called it at the time. Like looking at your phone and watching a game. And while we were in school, that wasn't really a thing.
Right.
And now it's like funny because like that's like the main thing everyone's doing pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's, I can imagine now people just laptop, phone. Hopefully, maybe pay attention to class. I don't know what the case is, but it's
imagine with the AI now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be writing essays in 1 second.
ChatGPT's #1 fan.
There you go. That's how you get your resume done. That's all you know.
You know, cold outreach emails. I just type out what I want. They make it a million times better.
I know. I mean,
nothing that I could write.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it goes. AI is definitely little by little is going to be, you know, trickling into all these like industries. So it's more just now like, you know, if you are a college student, you just got to just learn as much as possible. And 100%. You know, luck is involved. Don't get me wrong. I got very lucky to get hired at NBC. You know, I didn't know what to expect from that, but it was definitely a blessing to like get that job and learn from it. It just a little bit luck is always involved. Don't get me wrong, but just being willing to learn, just adapt, you know, it goes a long way. And I mean, I've seen you as well. You've done I don't know how many jobs in NBC.
I know it's crazy.
Doing highlights and like voice work. You
can tell a story about.
I was gonna say not many people know. The Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in 2018. While I was streaming all those like, you know, the specific winter sports games on NBC Sports app, one of those reels, Aaron was either doing the highlights for them or he was doing the voice work. So every package that will come through during a commercial break or whatever, I have to hear his voice every single day during that time.
Yo, he texted me. I remember this. I like distinctly remember because it was like we were probably like 3/4 of the way through the Olympics. And like, you know, like when you're getting through the Olympics, you're just grinding and you're grinding. You're just like, get me to the end of this.
And mind you, we're talking maybe 12 to 14 hour shifts.
Yes. And this was Pyeongchang. So our shifts were inverted. It was what, 12-hour time difference in Pyeongchang?
Probably more than time difference over there was crazy.
I remember my shift was 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then we amended it a little bit. But like still, I started work at 5 p.m. And I just remember one day I get a text from you and you were like, yo, if I have to hear your voice one more time during commercial break, I'm going to lose it.
I just hearing your voice 24/7, it was like, I love you, bro, but I cannot hear you anymore. I gotta stop.
No, and I was like, wait, it's crazy because you know what's crazy about that? I had no idea it was airing that much throughout all those streams. At NBC.
Yeah.
You were the one who told me, and then I was like, let me actually because you know you're so focused on what you're doing. You know, everyone's got their blinders on; they're just kind of like going. Yeah. And you were like, no, like you're on this all the time, and truly, like one of those funny memories. It's like how many people like if you would have told me, you know, when we started at Sacred Heart, you're gonna work in Olympic Games, and you're gonna get a text from like one of your closest friends being like, if I hear your voice one more time in the Olympics, I'm gonna lose it. I would be like, there's no way.
I'm not gonna lie, it was getting crazy, but no, but it was cool. Now, oh man, it's Pyeongchang.
How was Paris? Not Paris.
Tokyo. Yeah, that was it was interesting because
being that COVID one, right?
Yeah, exactly. It got pushed to 2021.
Yeah.
So that was just like everyone transitioning back into the office, trying to figure out what are we going to get done with this? Because we were worried like it's going to get canceled again. But luckily, we got that done. You know, it was an odd year for everyone trying to come back. But luckily, we were able to get that smooth sailing, luckily. But it was good. It was, you know, as the Olympics is grinding work all day, 12 to 14 hours a day, but definitely worth it. Just, you know, entertaining the fans with all the streams and all that, capturing all the live moments during that. So now we'll be busy this summer with the Paris Summer Olympics. So
can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
This is when you're gonna get your second. We're speaking on it.
Hopefully, man.
Podcast prediction. Which one's my camera? I think this one. Yeah. Manny Sanchez will win his second Emmy, two-time after the Paris Games.
No, yeah, but it was now this will be my fourth Olympics. I did the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, Tokyo Summer Olympics, and I did the past Winter Olympics. I'm blanking right now where it was Beijing. Beijing Winter Olympics. So yeah, that's where I got my Emmy, my first Emmy, outstanding interactive experience. I think that category for sports Emmy. So that was cool. You know, getting that. You know, getting any trophy, let alone an Emmy, was cool. Just having that now in my resume, showing my parents and all friends and family, that was cool.
Knowing your parents, obviously, they love, like, you are everything. You know, what was that moment like being able to tell your parents, I won an Emmy Award?
I'm pretty sure my mom cried immediately on the phone as I like told her and I sent her pictures. It's like, I knew you were going to be big.
I love it.
And my dad was just like, I knew I was proud of you, but I now...
even more so.
But that was cool. And then my mother-in-law, when I texted her pictures, she was at the supermarket at that time. She was like, I just stopped at the cereal aisle and I just cried looking at that picture.
That is amazing.
That was cool. No, I mean we had a few SHU alumni. You know, shout out to Michael Bryan, Gabby Newtel. I mean, we had like few SHU alumni come through, and also that won an Emmy. I know there was a recent article of some SHU alumni that were showing how they won Emmys recently. So that was cool to see. So, I mean, Sacred Heart. I mean, not for nothing, we are showing now in terms of like not only taking over sports broadcasting or communication side in general, but the awards are showing for it now. So
definitely,
it's really cool to see. You know, I mean, this radio station, this building is producing, you know, good alumni and good people for our industry. So 100%. It's cool to see.
100%. Yeah, I think just like this podcast, like me and AB, I'm sure AB could attest to it. Just like, yo, we're having some heavy hitters on like everything. Like everyone's just bringing, like now that again, old, 10 years out almost and all that. It's like, and now we're just talking to everybody and everyone's like moving up and winning stuff. And it's cool. And it's cool to see, like, even we just had Mario on. He was talking about like all the alum that he's been working with and got onto the Dan Patrick show, and they've been to the Super Bowls, and they see other people that he taught and they're at the Super Bowl with another company. So it's like dope to see. And then you're doing the Olympics. Like it's pretty much like everyone's doing something in major sport.
And I mean, I'll tell you what, Mario, that you want to talk about, man, that grinds.
Mario,
that crazy. Being an adjunct professor, producing DP, Dan Patrick show. That man doesn't take a break.
No, at all.
He does a lot over here in this campus for sure. So
it is crazy. Like I remember a time probably around like 2019-ish, just like walking around NBC's building, and I would see you, I would see Nicole, I would see Dan Elliott. Like I just saw so many different SHU alumni, and it was just crazy. Like I'm like, this is wild. Like one, we all go back and we have so many memories of just being young and dumb in college.
Yeah.
But then I'm
Eating
like
ramen noodles.
Started from the bottom.
Exactly.
and now to see all of that is amazing. So one thing we didn't ask you, why Sacred Heart?
Oh man. Why Sacred Heart? I mean, there's so many reasons why. I honestly, it was almost like a home away from home. I was being from Staten Island. I was like, I do want to, you know, see what is out there, but also be close enough to like come back, see my family.
Mhm.
So I remember when I went to some college fair and I got introduced to some representative of Sacred Heart. It was like, we have all these programs, we have
Mhm.
all these activities going, all these clubs,
Mhm.
and it just, I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And I got accepted, and immediately I got drawn into like the campus. Everyone was just so close to each other, being that, you know, it was a small mid-tier school. I
Mhm.
was just like, I was trying to see how this would go. And, I made so many friends out of it. And the community is unbelievable. You can't beat it. I mean, right here is my one of my groomsmen for my wedding. So
This
we
guy.
made I made lifelong friendships
friends. Facts.
from this school, and I can't thank Sacred Heart enough for it. I mean, and also from all the stuff, like, I mean, I've been an RSA, playing in the rugby club team, being in Greek life. I was an orientation leader. I mean, what didn't I do?
You did it
Yo,
all. You
I'm
did
telling
it
you,
all.
I was
Yeah,
I
the
was waiting
SHU
for you to.
experience.
I
was
I
waiting.
really
Manny
full
really is the mayor.
experience.
Somebody asked me the other day about, I can't remember what conversation, but they were like, "Do you know Manny Sanchez?" And I was like, "Yeah."
No, who
and,
doesn't?
and that's what I said. I was like, "Yo, Manny was the mayor. Like,
Yeah.
actually, Sacred Heart's mayor."
It was one of those, was just like, I did so much. I was every when people were saying my name, I'm like, oh gosh, what's happening? Because I did so much. I got acquainted with so many people, and I got to meet so many people from different backgrounds and different, like majors and all that. So that was cool. So I mean, meeting all those people, I was in the business schools, and being able to meet some of the communication people, that was like what drew me into wanting to do SCM. They're like, it's a new program at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give it a shot. If you don't like it, that's fine. At least you tried it. But
Yeah.
it was cool to see, oh, I do like this communication side. This is
Mhm.
something I might want to look into. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, Sacred Heart, I mean, is awesome. Can't recommend it anymore. Definitely worth coming here and just enjoy the experience, learn from it, do everything.
Yeah.
Don't probably be too much. Don't burn yourself out, but do it all, experience it all. It's definitely I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
Great
for
advice.
sure. I got one last question. So, at the beginning, you said you didn't know what you wanted to do when you had your sports management and marketing degree, and then you got the community. Like, so is there a dream job, a different dream job now that you have?
Oh man, it always changes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the one thing. Like at first, I wanted to, I wanted to be an athletic director, but
Okay.
I remember that when we first
exactly,
started,
yeah, I wanted to do that. Something that intrigued me. But then, when I got into the SCM program, I, played around in the studio and the
Okay.
cameras, and uh did some soundboard, and that was like, oh, I like communications. I like doing the broadcasting stuff. Maybe test it out. Do I want to be an on-air person? Definitely did not. I don't think
Same.
yeah.
Yo,
I remember the old sports buzz days.
If
Yeah.
they could find my reel, it would be.
No, I don't want them to find my reel.
It would be a comedy.
This face was not meant for the camera, but
I couldn't read the prompter.
oh yeah, I mean, there was times I was just like choking on words, and I was just like sweating a bunch. I was like, can we stop recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I maybe off behind the scenes, off air, maybe producing like in the production truck or in the booth or whatever. I think when I started streaming, I was just like, all right, let me give it a shot. So I think honestly, what I've done is like such a, you know, not a dream, but more like, oh, this is ideal. This is like something that I like to do because this is the future. This is something I want to be a part of. Maybe down the line, be involved with like programming, being involved in the, in the table talks when it comes to acquiring, these deals with all these leagues. Maybe down the line, I'd be cool to do. So that's just more just, getting up the career ladder. Hopefully one of those days, that'd be awesome to do. But
I think that helps you too with the business degree, because like I think like a lot of like media people just have their media
100%.
Yeah.
So, I'm one of them.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's always changing. So I like I said, I always just adapt to what's going on and try to learn new things and try to make sure that whatever does come, I'm ready for it, and then I go from there.
Yeah, it's so crazy too, like how many different things since we graduated weren't in existence.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually nuts.
It is.
I wouldn't be surprised if, because streaming is getting so big, we're gonna have to start teaching courses like how do you run live sports streaming.
They'll probably be calling you pretty soon.
Adjunct Professor
Miller.
Manny,
Miller.
Hey, listen.
Miller, if you want to holler at your boy.
You know what I'm saying? My last question for you. What is the best piece of advice that you have gotten that you would pass on to the next generation?
Man, that's hard. I mean, I've gotten so many advice from so many different people. I think it's just one of those like, just, if there's like a professor or someone in the industry that honestly, don't be afraid to hit them up and reach out, because we all know, like, being in whatever sports industry, whether it's communications, business side, whatever, it's intimidating because you see a lot of some of the old heads or what all the experienced leaders is like, how do I get there? I'm intimidated to like talk to them, like, but honestly, they are fine with just like being reached out. Most of them or some of them are fine being reached out, like giving you the knowledge of like, this is the route I went. Yeah. It may be not the same route you're going to go through, but at least what I went through and what you could learn from that. So 100%. Don't be afraid to, go to your professors or have like, hey, do you know someone in this certain industry or this certain job? Or I may know someone. Let me give you an email or phone number, whatever. You can contact them. Just don't be afraid to reach out, because the more you reach out, they know you're curious. They know you're hungry. Yeah. So, and you are able to reach out. They like hanging out with you. You're likable and all that. You get along. You're a go-getter. It helps. It shows out. Yeah, you could have a great resume, but can you work as a team member? Can I get along with you? Am I able to talk to you? So,
I think even like when you're a student, that's like the best time to reach out to, because like like people just like want to help you because you're a student as well, because they know like you're trying, and that shows like initiative that you're reaching out as a student, like before you're getting the job.
Yeah, we're all. I feel I've been there. I've been where the SEM people and all, even on the undergrads, we're all curious, but we're all just like maybe a little intimidated. But
write those emails.
Honestly, it's worth it. Just once you get past that intimidation, it's worth it.
Slide in the DMs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not in his way.
But
Manny, as always, appreciate it.
Yes.
We can't wait to have you back on here with both statues stacked up here.
I know. Now I'm gonna bring the Emmy now.
Next time,
Emmys hopefully in the future.
Exactly. Yes. Plural.
I'm surprised you don't have yours.
Mine actually,
AB forgot his shirts today.
Okay, relax. I forgot a lot of things. It was a busy day. Also, mine is I actually gave mine to my mom. I gave my first one to my mom.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Without you, I wouldn't have got here. So I gave it to my mom.
Yeah, he's like, what a humble brag. I saw Paul. He wanted to say something.
He wanted to, but he remembered this is a university podcast.
I was going to say something.
But, anyhow, this has been another episode of What You Doing. Thank you, as always, Manny. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.